Out of the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 21. Everybody turn to the book of 1 Samuel 21 and say, no women allowed.
No women allowed.
Hey, there's one brave man. Come on, where's the rest of you guys? You guys are crying for your wives. Come on. All right, come on. Jerry joined in. Come on. 1 Samuel, chapter 21, verse 1. We're taking a look at David and how King Saul is already trying to kill him. He's after him and he's scared. And how many know that when you're scared, you do things that are not normal? We think of King David as a man after God's own heart. But we're going to take a look at another side of him today. And so it starts off when David came to Nob. What a name. What a name for a guy. Hey, Nob. He came to Nob, to Amalek the priest. What kind of a city is Nob? And so he comes to him, and he comes to David, and the priest tells him, hey, what are you doing alone? He's afraid. David, what are you doing here alone? Verse 2, David said to Amalek the priest, the king has commissioned me with a matter and has sent me. Let no one know anything about the matter in which I am sending you and with which I commission you, and I have directed the young men to a certain place. Now this was all a lie. This was all a lie. David was scared. He was running. The king wanted to kill him. So it was all a lie. So he's telling the priest a lie. Hey, I'm here because I'm on a secret mission. All right. It wasn't true. Verse 3. Now therefore, what do you have on hand? Give me 5 loaves of bread or whatever can be found. So here's King David, the tremendous king, the tremendous man of God. He's in the house of God, and he's lying, and he's asking them to give him food under a false pretense. All right, David, this is not your day. Verse 4, the priest answered David and said, there is no ordinary bread on hand, but there is consecrated bread. So we only have holy bread. There's no bread for people to eat. This is all bread dedicated to the Lord, and only the priests can eat this bread. That's it. We don't have bread for you. But then he tells them, well, if your young men have kept themselves from women, well, if your young men have not been having extraordinary relationships, I have to say that because the kids are here. If your men have kept themselves, I guess it's all right. Well, who knows if they kept themselves? He's still lying, so he's not going to say, yeah, they kept themselves. David answers the priest and said to him, surely women have been kept from us, as previously when I sent out the vessels of the young men were holy, though it was an ordinary journey, how much more then today will these vessels be holy? In other words, dude, I'm on the run. I ain't got time to be chasing women right now. I'm on the run for my life. Of course I'm holy. Of course we kept ourselves. See, David is changed right here. He's in fear. He's scared. So we see that his character is way out of line. It's not the David we know. Why is this guy lying? Why is he afraid? Why doesn't he stand up to the king? Why doesn't he stand up to, I have God on my side? Why is he acting this way? Verse 6, so the priest gave him the consecrated bread, for there was no bread there, but the bread of the presence, which was removed from before the Lord in order to put hot bread in its place when it is taken away. So he gives them the consecrated bread. David, you're not supposed to have this bread, but okay. we're going to give it to you because the king commanded it. We're going to give it to you. So he's breaking the rules with himself. He's breaking the rules with the priest. And now he's breaking the rules with God. He's eating what he's not supposed to eat. David's in a lot of trouble. He's going down the wrong road, and it gets worse. Verse 7, now one of the servants of Saul was there that day, detained before the Lord, and his name was Dog, the Edomite, the chief of the Saul's shepherds. Okay, so there's a rat there. There's a guy who's going to tell Saul, hey, you know what? You know what, Saul? David's there. And you know what this guy's going to say? He's going to tell the king, and you know what? The priest, Amalek, he helped David out. He helped him. He gave him some bread. He gave him some consecrated bread. And you know what Saul is going to do? He's going to come and kill this man and all the priests that are there. Because of David's sin, the priests and all the other priests that were there were all murdered by Saul. They were all murdered by his authority. They were all murdered because he called them. So this is what David had caused. He caused all these types of problems. Verse 8, and David said to Amalek, now is there not a spear or a sword on hand? For I brought neither my sword nor my weapons with me, because the king's matter was urgent. Yes, the king's matter was urgent because he was going to kill David, and David had to flee. He ran without any weapons. He ran without any food. He ran without any money. He was on the run. And that's what happened. So he's saying, man, don't you got any kind of weapons here? Then the priest said, the sword of Goliath, the Philistine, whom you killed in the valley, is wrapped in a cloth behind the ephod. If you would take it for yourself, take it. For there is no other except it here. And David said, there is none like it, give it to me. There was no weapons at this place. So there was no justification for Saul to kill all these unarmed men, all these unarmed holy men. But he did it because they helped David. And this is how bad Saul had come. He was no longer serving God. He had nothing to do with God. It was all about him. Verse 9. Then the priest said, the sword of Goliath, the Philistine, we just read that one. Okay, verse 10, let's go to verse 10. Then David arose and fled that day from Saul and went to Achi, the king of Gath. All right, here he goes. King David, he fled to another country. He went to the king of Gath. He went to another country. He went to another place. He's in so much fear. He says, I have to leave Israel so that I am not caught. He's thinking irrationally. He's not thinking in his right frame of mind. Verse 11, but the servants of Achi said to him, is this not David, the king of the land? See, they already knew that he was anointed to be king. That it was just a matter of Saul being taken out. So they already knew this was going to be the king. They already knew. They already had heard that he was going to be the next king of Israel. And so they see him there and they start mocking him. Is this not the king of Israel? Did they not sing of this one? And they danced, saying, Saul slayed his 1,000, and David his 10,000. So like, ain't you a mighty man of God? Ain't you a powerful man? Didn't you kill all these men on your own? What are you doing here? Why are you here, David? You here to kill us too? So here's David, afraid, and he's standing in front of his reputation, standing in front of the things that he did for God mightily, but yet he's afraid. Yet he's in fear. He's in fear of what they're going to do to him. He's in fear that he's going to be killed. He's in fear that God's going to take him out. He's in fear Saul's going to take him out. He's in fear for his life. Why would David be in fear for his life? He's been in many battles. He's been in many fights. He came against Goliath. Why is he afraid? He's got Goliath's sword in his hand. I killed this sucker. And why is he afraid? What happened to him? What took place? What changed his heart? What changed his mind? What changed him from a mighty warrior to a man in fear? Something happened to him. It happens to all men at different times. And we have to wonder, how do we get back the sanity? Verse 12, David took these words to heart and greatly feared Achi, king of Gath. So here's David. He's even more afraid now. I'm in the enemy's camp. I'm here with the enemy. I killed his men. I'm here with the enemy. I killed his giant. I'm here with the enemy. What are they going to do to me? King Saul's going to kill me, but they got me in their hands. What is he going to do? He greatly feared. You know that his confidence was not with the Lord. You know that his confidence was not in his calling. You know that his confidence was not with him. He was afraid. Verse 13. So he disguised his sanity before them and acted insane in their hands. And he scribbled on the walls of the gates and let his saliva run down into his beard. He acted like he was crazy. The mighty King David, the mighty powerful man, the man of God, the man who was called, the man who knows God's voice, the man who heard God's voice, the man who went up against some of the most treacherous warriors, the man who went up against impossible battles and won. What happened? What changed his heart? What made him act insane? What made him let saliva come down his beard? What made him write on walls? What made him act stupid? What made him act crazy? Fear. We all have fear. You have to think of, what is the fear that will get to you? We all have a fear. The fear of losing a child is a big fear. The fear of losing your spouse is a big fear. The fear of not being able to provide is a big fear. The fear of failure is a big fear. We all face fear. But how are you going to act when fear is standing in front of your face? King David, a man who faced all these challenges many times, for whatever reason, lost his confidence, and he blew it. And And he thought in his mind, if I act like a madman, they'll let me go. Verse 14, then Ashi said to his servants, behold, you see the man behaving as a madman. Why do you bring him to me? Why are you bringing this idiot over here? Why are you bringing this retard over here? Why are you bringing this guy? He's mad. He's crazy. Why do I want him? Why are you bringing him to me? Well, because King David thought it would be a good idea to go to his enemy. Have you ever had that thought? Have you ever thought, well, it's a good idea that I go with my enemy. Let me go and get high once again. Let me go and pick up a prostitute up once again. Let me go and hang out with that girl that's always trying to give me some. Let me go and do those things that I'm not supposed to do. Let me go to the enemy's camp because I think it's a great idea. And this is where David was. It's a great idea that I go to my enemy, but when he gets there, he has to act like a madman to keep his sanity. When he gets there, he has to act like he's crazy. Verse 14, then Ashi said to his servant, behold, you see the madman behaving as a madman. Why do you bring him to me? Verse 15, do I lack madmen? Do I need another crazy guy? Do I need another psycho? Do I need another man in fear? Do I need another man who backslid? Do I need another man who's gone to the enemy? Do I need another man like this? I don't need those kind of men. This is what he's saying. I don't need crazy guys. I need men that are going to stand, men that are going to listen, men that are going to do what God has called them to do. I can't use another madman. David, you were such great worth. David, you were such a powerful man. David, you had such great anointing. David, you did great things for God. David, you were the man of God. David, we don't need you anymore because you lost your courage. David, we can't use you anymore because you lost your confidence. David, we can't use you anymore because you're not listening to God anymore. David, we can't use you anymore because you're not trusting in God anymore. David, I can't use you anymore because you need to take a bath. You stink. A great and powerful man. But because he lost courage, he lost everything. Do I lack madmen that you have brought this one to act the madman in my presence? Are you serious? You want to bring this idiot to come act like a fool? You know, let me tell you something. I'm not here because I'm a stupid idiot. I'm here because I've endured. And because I've endured, that means I know a couple of things or two. 20 years ago, I was a stupid idiot. Today, I'm just an idiot. I have graduated. Thank you. 40 years around Christianity, I've seen things coming. I know what's coming. I know what's going on. I know what's going to take place. Okay, you just got saved. This is what you got to do. Don't go hang around with your friends anymore. Oh, but they're my friends. They love me. Don't go hang out over there. Oh, I'm going to go witness to them. Don't go do that because that's wrong. But oh, they know better and they go over there. What do they do? They start getting high. Don't hang out with that girl. She's a loose girl. Oh, come on. She's just a friend. Next thing you know, you're in bed with her. What happened? See, I've seen a few tricks of the enemy. I've seen a few things. That's what makes me valuable. I have experience. I've seen the tricks. I've seen what the devil can do. I know and I follow the rules. And that's why I've been able to make it. That's why he says, I don't need another madman. I don't need this guy. I don't need another fool. I don't need another idiot. I don't need that. I don't need that in my life. How did David come from a great man to somebody that nobody needs anymore? We don't need this guy. He's an idiot. Yeah, but he did this and this. Yeah, he did that back then. But today, he's an idiot. Today, he's a madman. Yesterday, he was a great man. Today, he's a madman. Nobody cares about yesterday. We don't care what you did yesterday. It's like saying, man, yesterday I had me a good combo meal. Yeah, well, it's not helping you today because you're hungry. You want to know what you're going to eat now. He says, shall this one come into my house? Oh, no way. I don't even want this fool in my house. Yeah, but he did tremendous things. He killed 10,000 people. Yeah, but he did this, he did that. He did all these great... I don't want that guy. Okay, he's washed up. He's no good. He's done. Get rid of him. That leads us to 1 Samuel chapter 22, verse 1. So David departed from acting like a stupid idiot. So David departed from having double fear, from fearing Saul and now fearing the king of Gath. So David departed from double cowardness. So David departed from messing up with God, messing up with himself, messing up with his fellow man, and from there and escaped to the cave of Adullam. The cave of Adullam means stronghold. He's messed up. He's messed up. He says, I have to go to the stronghold. I need to go where I can get some strength. I need to go where I can get my courage back. I need to go where I can get a hold of God again. I need to go where I can remember what God did in my life. I need to go and get what God has given me, victory. He goes to the cave of Adullam, and when his brothers and all his father's household heard of it, they went down there to him. So here he is. He went to draw courage. And where did he draw courage from? His family came around him, his brothers, his father. Men started coming around him. What type of men came to the stronghold to give him aid? It was men who were in distress. Men that were just like him were in distress. The kingdom's messed up again. It's not being run by God. It's being run by Saul. Men who are distressed. Men who were in debt. These men had nothing coming. They weren't the rich ones of the country. They had nothing going for themselves. They were like David. On the lam, on the run. Everyone who was discontented. David was not content with everything that was going on in his life, and neither were these men. And they all came and they all gathered at the cave of Adullam, at the stronghold. They all came there. They gathered there. And look what they did. In verse 2 says, everybody came, they gathered to him, and he became captain over them. Now there were about 400 with him. He was there. There's nothing like feeling sorry for yourself, and you can get stuck there. But as a man, when you know you got to take care of other people, as a man, when you know you got to help other people, As a man, when you know you got other people depending on you, all of a sudden your courage starts to rise. All of a sudden your understanding begins to come back. I need to do what God is calling me to do, and not just for myself anymore. He needed to grab a hold of himself quickly, because he had 400 men with all their wives, with all their kids, who came and gathered to him. So whenever you lose your confidence, whenever you lose the reason why you're here, whenever you start acting like a madman, you need to look at who is depending on you. Your wives, your children, grandchildren, friends. We proclaim Christ, and people see us. And if you start acting like a madman, you start going back to drugs, and you start acting stupid, you let them down. Because people are coming to you for strength. They're coming to the stronghold for strength. They heard that you were there, so they're going on the testimony that you have. Oh, he's a strong man. Let's go over there. He'll help us. David, as a leader, then this is the mark of a true leader, is that you have to encourage yourself. You have to get off the floor. You have to stop crying. You have to stop acting a fool, and you need to go forward. That is the mark of a leader. There was nobody here to encourage David. There was nobody here to tell David to stop it. There was no one here to tell David, you need to get right. There was nobody here to tell David, everybody's looking at you. Stand up and be the leader. He went to the cave. He went to the stronghold because he knew he had to get strong. He knew he had to stand up. And that's what we have to do as men. We have to stand up no matter how tough it is, no matter what's going on, no matter how hard it is. You need to stand up and go and do what God has called you to do. David went. And all these men and their families followed him, not knowing that he was acting a stupid fool, not knowing that he was acting crazy. All they came was, that's David. He's going to be the king. He's going to be able to make it. He's going to find the solution. God is with him. God is going to help us overcome because we're with him. That's all they knew. It was David holding inside of his heart the foolishness that he got into because he lost his confidence. And that's okay. If you lose your confidence, it's all right. But muster up the strength, get that stronghold, and go forward for the Lord. Heavenly Father, we thank you, we praise you.